My Algorithm Reactions, hosted by me, Freddie Robbins II. Down the rabbit hole we go. Let's see what the feed serves up next.
Rabbit hole we go, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, down the rabbit hole we go, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole.
Is the most convincing piece of evidence you have that it was faked?
The 1970s moon landing was fake. What do you say to them?
Well, I have several replies.
Eugene Reuben Akers. I don't want any money for what I'm doing because hopefully this video won't come out until after my death.
Oh, don't get me started. He's in outer space. And the president called him on a landline. Are you nuts?
Down the rabbit hole we go, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, down the rabbit hole we go, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole. Chemtrail streak across the blue, painting lines in the sky where the modification tornadoes, rain, snow and ice. Propaganda on the screens, twisting every word we hear, controlling minds worldwide, force feeding us fear. Memories change overnight, Mandela effect at play. What we thought was real before now suddenly has changed. Flat earth debates, global believers, everybody's on edge. Question everything you know, where does the truth begin? Down the rabbit hole we go, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole.
You met me at a very strange time in my life.
Rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole. Down the rabbit hole we go, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole. Down the rabbit hole we go, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole. Outer space looks like a movie, science fiction, big screen, the narrative full of holes. Nothing is all what it seems. Deep state, mind control, puppeteers pull the strings, keep the masses distracted.
What's up, y'all? This is the Basement Made Podcast. Do you believe that coming at the beginning? I mean, gotta pick one. But that's not what this episode is about yet. This episode is about the moon landing and if it's real. What do you think? Let me know down in the comments. But before we get into any videos, we're gonna take a sponsor break.
Don't let a fender bender ruin your week. Dwayne's fixes it right. Dwayne Bardo has kept this shop running through road closures, bridge work, and everything Akron could throw at him. Collision repair, dents, bodywork, done right by a guy who actually cares about your car. Find Dwayne's Auto Body at 475 East North Street in Akron. Come in and see him.
It's midnight. You're hungry. Bebe's on Triplet is still open. Akron's favorite drive-thru has been keeping the community fed for years. Snacks, drinks, beer, groceries, whatever you need, without ever leaving your car. They take cash, card, mobile pay, even EBT. Order on Seamless. Bebe's drive-thru. 1605 Triplet Boulevard. Open every day till 1 a.m.
I was a fan of WMMS long before I started drawing the buzzard. MMS was a part of my life then, and still is. We've come a long way together. When I draw the buzzard, I try to express in that character the feeling that WMMS has for Cleveland. It's a feeling that's in the music and in the people on the air. WMMS reflects the lifestyles of Cleveland and the North Coast, the rock and roll capital of the world. And the buzzard, he still says it all.
Alright, y'all. So let me know in the comments. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe.
Woo! Woo!
Subscribe! Thanks, Fred the Rabbit. And, let's get into it. So, we're going to the moon, y'all.
Is the most convincing piece of evidence you have that it was faked?
Well, I have the crew of Apollo 11 faking being halfway to the moon using a 1-foot model of the Earth, and I have the CIA on a third track of audio telling them to fake a 4-second radio delay from Earth orbit. And then we have the eyewitness testimony of a deathbed confession of Cyrus Eugene Akers, who saw them film it at Cannon Air Force Base in 1968. He even confessed to killing somebody to cover it up because the NSA asked him to do so. That's a strange thing to be saying.
You've also
right?
claimed. You've also claimed. I'll come to you, Brian, in a second. But you've also claimed. You describe what you call as anomalous shadows that are not parallel, suggesting multiple artificial light sources in a studio rather than a single distant sun. So these photographs that we're looking at now, you think are indicative of fakery?
Well, let me also say I went from being the biggest fan, greater fan than Brian. I had a shrine of Apollo pictures in my house for decades. And a filmmaker's job is to make fake scenes look real. Go back to the picture and look how shadows should be in sunlight. The sun, it's 1 million times bigger than the Earth in volume. It's 93 million miles away. It's going to cast shadows in the same direction on the Earth or the moon. There's 2 telephone poles about 5 feet apart. The shadows are parallel. Here's a picture they claim was taken on the moon of objects 5 feet apart. The astronaut shadows at 12 o'clock, the rock 5 feet away, the shadows at 9 o'clock. That can only happen with a close electrical light. We just proved with one photograph that they faked the moon landing despite what anybody says, despite what the corrupt federal government says. That picture cannot be duplicated in sunlight. It can only be duplicated with electrical light, which means they're on Earth, which means they didn't go to the moon.
Okay.
I'm sorry to bring it up.
The 1970s moon landing.
Well, we're starting off to a strong start, y'all. He said it was proved wrong with just one photograph. Woo! Man, 1969. I don't know. I know the movie that Stanley Kubrick made, 2001 Space Odyssey, was made in 1968. And I know that they wanted him to fake this in a studio. And if you see what Stanley Kubrick did in 1968, yeah, it's definitely possible that they faked it. That man was a genius with photography. So, but that's neither here nor there. Let's see what else we got. If you want to support us with merch or buy stocks into one of our companies or become a sponsor and get advertised or anything like that, just head on over to our website, learn more about us, basementmadeonlinestore.com, and check us out. We're going to go back to the moon. We're going to check out the moon, see how the landing was. And the takeoff back. That's always fun.
1970s moon landing was fake. What do you say to them?
Well, I have several replies. This is a joke, actually. So NASA goes to Hollywood and they say, okay, we got to fake this moon landing. So what will it require? And they said, well, we got to do this. We have to actually have a launch, all right, because people see the launch, and we got to do this. Right. We got to have a set, and we have to evacuate it, and so that the dust falls quickly, and have to put them on point joists so that they look like it's not regular gravity. But we did all this research, and we concluded that what's way simpler than that is to film it on location.
Film it on location in 1969. You went to the moon. 2 guys, no film crew. Perfect production. Woo!
Subscribe.
I believe it was Nixon that caught him on a green phone in 1969. He made a landline call, y'all. I don't know. Seems plausible, don't it? I don't know. Yeah, I do. I know. I don't know how people believe it, but to each his own. We're all taught the same things in school, and we're taught not to question it, especially when it comes to stuff like the moon, outer space, planets. We're told stuff at a very young age before we're even old enough to question it about all these planets and how how everything works in space. We was told as kindergartners, and it takes a lot for people to get out of that programming. If you believe you're just a speck floating through space, I don't know. You missed the whole story of creation in Genesis 1. Yeah, I mean, Genesis 1 pretty much sums it up, so. But let's see what else some people had to say about the moon landing.
We see them waddle around on the surface of the moon. They're moving at like half speed. And then you see them in other ones, like the one where they bounce around the air. You're like, wow, they're moving different. They're in the same thing, right, but it looks different. The first one was very grainy. They showed it on a projection screen. Right. There's a couple different possibilities. One possibility is it just looks weird because it's on the moon, and your brain is trying to interpret it, and your brain's going, well, that's fake, because you don't really understand what 1/6 Earth's gravity really does to a body. Yeah. That's one possibility. Another possibility, which has been shown to be true, is that some of the stuff that they passed off as being legitimate photographs of space travel was actually test runs where they blacked out the background and pretended that they were in space. Now, there's one really clear example of this. It's Michael Collins. Michael Collins was a guy who was aboard Apollo 11. Right. In Gemini 15, there's a photo of him of
all of the things in the world that have never happened, that has never happened the most. That is the most didn't happen shit of all time. Of all of
just me.
Woo! Subscribe.
Look up what Joe Rogan said. Joe Rogan know what he's talking about? Collins. John Collins, did he say? Collins. I know it was Collins. Yeah, who knows, man? Look into it. Do you believe the moon landing in 1969? What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe. Yeah, that rabbit, man. I like him. The more that he comes around, I like it. I hope we can get him on again with his crazy self. If you like that 420 episode, let me know. Tell Fred the Rabbit you want to see him. I'm thinking about trying to show Fred the Rabbit how to start his own social media. We'll see. You've been going out in public a lot.
Woo!
But I don't know what Fred the Rabbit thinks about the moon landing, though. Maybe he'll let us know one day. Or AI. Or is Fred the Rabbit AI? What do you think? What do you think? But we're going to keep going with some more moon landing stuff. Did we go to the moon?
Itty bitty cracks in the foundation. And then comes the detail that critics will never let go of. You see, the world wasn't watching a live stream that was coming from the moon straight to their TV set in their living room. The lunar camera was sending a slow scan picture that regular broadcast television, it couldn't air as is. So before the public even saw it, that image had to be converted to something on Earth that networks could use. Now, in plain English, basically what I'm saying is the biggest moment in human history reached the world as a picture of a picture. And see, right there, that's where the mood kind of starts to shift. Because now the question is not what happened. The next question is exactly what are we looking at? We got a blurry image, an upside down start. Then we've got all the stations that's switching around, a negative picture, a signal that had to be converted before the world even saw it. Now, none of that proves that this is a hoax, but if you were already suspicious, it didn't have to. It just had to feel just a little bit off. It just needed.
I'd go to the moon in a nanosecond. The problem is we don't have the technology to do that anymore. We used to, but we destroyed that technology, and it's a painful process to build it back again.
When you said that just now, did it sound stupid to you? Kind of.
I'd go.
Who else has seen that from that NASA scientist? What? Tell me you've never been to space without telling me you've never been to space with that one, bud. We had the technology, but we destroyed it, and it's a painful process to get it back. Meanwhile, NASA makes $65 million in one day. And they destroyed the technology to go to the moon. If they would have went to the moon in 1969, they would have colonized it like they did everything else. And you would be able to take a trip onto the moon. So we're going to continue with the moon landing. Did you know they have a full-scale model of the ISS in the pool? Let's see that.
I'm from outer space, I got Milky Way for blood, evolution in my veins. I'm gone, I've been far away, I'm illuminated now, I make a move, start the waves. I've been breathing on my highest for a long time. I had a vision from the birds, they want a gold sign. I'm officially delegated away, I'm your future, past and present, I'm a fine line. Yeah, I'm a listening of this illusion, I am not really here, I'm an intrusion. I don't still sing, I just flow, I don't need gravity, I just need flow. When I move, it's in a quick rumble, I will never ever fall, never stumble, and I don't need to be humble. Break down walls like Jericho. When I
Eugene Reuben Akers. I don't want any money for what I'm doing because hopefully this video won't come out until after my death. So I have nothing to gain, nothing to profit by telling you what I'm going to tell you. In 1968, my father was stationed at Cannon Air Force Base in New Mexico. We lived in Clovis, New Mexico. He was in the military police for over 20 years, and on his deathbed in 2002, we made a recording of what happened. Project Slam Dunk was the name of this. President Johnson in 1968, okay? In Cannon Air Force Base in 1968, he said by the time he got there, that there was already 2 large hangars that were connected. There was hundreds of dump trucks that came in and dumped sand and stone, and cement powder was powdered over the top of all that to make it look like a lunar landscape. They had men that fashioned it into a lunar landscape, he said. Okay, I've never known my dad to lie, so this all took me by surprise. You know, what's that all about? So anyway, he said that in front of the airplane hangars was pole framing with large canvas tents that was concealing the inside of the staging area. Inside the staging area, on flatbed trucks, was created the lunar lander that was reassembled back inside the hangars. All of the walls were painted flat black, and the ceilings as well. He was sworn to secrecy by the NSA, and they would put him in prison for breaking that oath. When Dad saw the moon landing on TV, he cried. He said he knew that what he had witnessed on TV was exactly what they recorded in that hangar.
That Neil Armstrong in 1969.
Oh, don't get me started.
He's in outer space. And the president called him on a landline.
Are you nuts?
He called him on a
landline phone.
And he is in nebula.
Hey,
I Hey, you mean to tell me we went to the moon back before there was color on TV?
They went up in an aluminum box that kindergartners can make.
And then they said, we're good now and not going back.
Did you see the guy's hoof? You see the boot he was wearing?
Are you nuts?
It's not even the same footprint. It's literally not the same.
We couldn't.
Did he switch shoes?
That was before www. Was invented, and we're in space.
Before we could stream a basketball game from 2 states over, we're walking and hitting golf balls in outer space.
Are you nuts?
Come on, dog.
We're with ET hanging out, making friends. Are you nuts?
Dog. President picks up a landline like he's calling grandma for a recipe, and he's like, "Hey, you doing good, Neil?" No.
And the fact that Neil is so defensive about this now, like people go up to be like, hey, is that actually real? He hit somebody.
Dude, because he knows it's not.
So Neil Armstrong's mad about it. He'll defend it. What's the other guy say? What did Buzz Aldrin say? Well, let's find out what Buzz Aldrin says. Is he feeding into it? Or is he being serious? What's he got to lose? If he tells you it's fake. Neil Armstrong's sticking with the story. He'll fight over you. He'll fight you over it. What's Buzz Aldrin say? Let's take a look.
You say that's me? Okay, check out the name badge. It says Aldrin. Looks like you're right. But notice the helmet. Can you see my face? No. This is a secret I've been keeping for almost half a century. On July 20th, 1969, Neil Armstrong and I pulled off humanity's first extraterrestrial prank.
What was the scariest moment of the journey?
Scariest? It didn't happen. It could have been scary.
Why has nobody been to the moon in such a long time?
That's not an 8-year-old's question. That's my question. I want to know, but I think I know. Because we didn't go there, and that's the way it happened. And if it didn't happen, it's nice to know why it didn't happen. So in the future, if we want to keep doing something, we need to know why something stopped in the past that we wanted to keep it going. Money is a good thing. If you want to buy new things, new rockets, instead of keep doing the same thing over, then it's going to cost more money. And other things need more money too. So having achieved what the president wanted us to do, and then what thousands, millions of people in America, and millions of people around the world. You know, when we toured around the world after we came back, the most fascinating observation was signs that said, we did it. Not just us, not just America, but we, the world, different countries. They felt like they were part of what we were able to do. And that made us feel very good.
We did it. People actually think they went to the moon, and they will not let that go. They will not let that go. No matter what you show them, they will believe it till the end. And yeah, it'll be straight up diehard Christians too. But that's where you better read the story of creation and ask yourself if it aligns with Big Bang. And if you start doing all the math of how fast all these things are moving, we're going to get into that in the next episode. But to launch to the moon and keep everything up, and then to launch yourself back and to keep up with the movement of everything is astronomical. And I don't know how they did it. And Buzz Aldrin was talking about money, needing money. How much do you guys make in a day, NASA? That's right. 65 million, I believe, a day. So, cool. Let's check out some more, see if we believe the moon landing yet. Do you? Let me know in the comments. Like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks, Fred the Rabbit.
Never been to the moon.
Okay, I totally believe that we have never been there.
Well, in case you had any doubt, I want to settle the score.
I have doubt.
The first fact, there's 5 facts. First one, there's no atmosphere or wind on the moon.
Which means, why is the flag flying?
Yes, why is the flag flying? Why is it waving around if there's no wind and no atmosphere on the moon? It doesn't make any sense.
Do you want me to tell you why?
Because we didn't go there.
Because it was in a studio in LA.
Okay. The second one is that stars are visible on the moon.
Yeah.
If you go back, you watch videos, you watch clips of the first moon landing, everything.
There's no stars.
There's no stars in the background. It's just black sky, which doesn't make any sense.
You really don't have to convince me, but this is more for the audience.
It is. It's for
I
the
do
audience.
not believe it happened.
You know the videos of the people jumping on the moon?
Yes.
Like they walk around, they're taking their first steps and everything. They look all jolly and joyous.
It looks like they're wired in.
Yeah, well, they're getting like 3 to 4 inches off the ground, which isn't high at all. Like you could jump that on Earth easily. For every 0.6 meters, they should be jumping 2.7 meters in the air. That's the gravity
high.
difference. So be able to come like only 3-4 inches off the ground while they're hopping.
They should be flying.
They basically should be flying. Exactly.
2.7 meters is like a lot of meters.
You ever
be easier to go to the moon than it would be to fake it. No, it wouldn't.
Right.
Not if you physically can't get a human being through the Van Allen radiation belts. That's the first problem nobody wants to talk about. They lied about so many things back then that trusting this one historic achievement blindly feels almost childish. We're told to believe it all happened smoothly, perfectly, without a single major failure, as if space itself cooperated just for that moment. And then comes the footage. Every time you watch it closely, more questions pop up than answers. How exactly are they filming all this? Who's behind the camera capturing these perfect angles on the moon? The lunar module lifting off looks like a scene from an old sci-fi movie. No obvious engine burn, no fire, no blast, no dust movement, nothing. It just floats upward like it's attached to invisible strings. And somehow, magically, the remote camera on the lunar rover pans perfectly to catch the ascent in 1969 with technology that struggled to keep a TV signal stable on Earth. Where did all that power come from anyway? This wasn't a modern rocket. They say they used something comparable to car batteries. Car batteries to launch a capsule off the moon's surface, fight 1/6 gravity, and reconnect flawlessly with the command module orbiting above. One tiny miscalculation and the astronauts would drift into space forever, yet we're told it worked perfectly, first try and no errors. And then there's the famous phone call talking to Richard Nixon live from the moon. A crisp, clear conversation from almost 240,000 miles away at a time when a long-distance call from one USA state to another would crackle and cut out. So when people say they could never fake something that big, I just smile. Because with all the strange camera angles, the missing rocket plumes, the flawless docking, the suspiciously smooth broadcast, and the convenient silence around radiation, the real question is, did they actually go, or did they simply master the art of making the world believe they did?
You really believe that in 1969, when televisions were still in black and white, and folks were still using rotary fucking phones, and most new cars sold in the United States didn't even have power windows or fucking air conditioning, that we just strapped 2 cowboys into what was essentially a fucking Coke can with a Chevy small block attached to it, and just launched them motherfuckers out into orbit on nothing more than a hope and a fucking dream, and somehow managed to land that glorified bottle rocket safely on an uncharted lunar surface, where they then got out and played hopscotch for a few hours, and then they got right back inside that motherfucker, and then somehow managed to launch themselves back off the goddamn moon with no infrastructure. And then a few short weeks later, they landed safely back on Earth. You really fucking believe that that happened? Goddamn, you're a gullible son of a bitch. I bet you still believe in fucking Santa Claus, you goofy bastard.
So what do you think? Do you believe it? Is it true? Did we go to the moon in 1969? Did Stanley Kubrick have anything to do with the production of the moon landing in 1969? Look up what Stanley Kubrick did with 2001: A Space Odyssey in 1968. He could fake a moon landing. Then watch the movie Fly Us Home, Fly Me to the Moon. Just came out a couple years ago. Watch that movie. They tell you. That goes back to a couple weeks ago with the predictive programming. And remember, they had AI before all this. 18 years. Now, did they use AI? Probably not. They probably filmed it in the studio. But can they use AI now? To fool you? To believe that we went to the moon or that we're in outer space?
What was the scariest moment of the journey?
Scary. It didn't happen. It could have been scary.
Has nobody been to the moon in such a long time?
Because we didn't go there, and that's the way it happened.
I remember my parents waking me up, and we went down and we watched you guys land on the moon.
No,
which
you
was
didn't. No, you didn't.
What?
You watched animation.
This goes out to all the non-believers. Why is the guy who apparently landed on the moon saying that he didn't land on the moon? Why is he going to downplay one of the greatest achievements of this century? And you say we're the ones that are crazy, but you refuse to believe. Man that apparently has actually been there, saying that no, it's not true, we didn't go there. Who's the crazy one really? Some people will literally believe anything that's put on a television set. Just take it as gospel truth.
17 lunar lander lifts off. Photo AS17-151-23201 shows a clear shadow being cast on the ceiling of the studio. Similarly, Apollo 14 image AS14-64-9089, when yellow and blue are subtracted from the chroma scale, shows what can only be studio lighting reflecting off a black background. Original Apollo 16 photo AS16-107-174-46. There is a rock with a letter C clearly engraved into it, as well as another C drawn into the dirt next to it. This is characteristic of fake stage rocks on a stage setup, where the set designer demarcates prop positions, and of course not something that would ever be found on the moon. Several bits of video footage from the Apollo missions. There is evidence of the astronauts using wires to achieve a more weightless appearance. During Apollo 14, there are many occasions where light reflects off the wires attached to their backpacks, making them momentarily become visible. During the Apollo 17 flag planting, just as the two astronauts go to shake hands, light pings off the wires from the top of their backpacks all the way to the top of the screen.
Well, guys, that about does it for me. This has been Basement Made Podcast. I'm Freddie Robbins, and these are my algorithm reactions. We have lost signal to one of the cameras, so we're gonna have to take off here to get back to the Earth in a couple weeks. Our next episode is so long, it's gonna take a couple weeks to film, but you should be content with this latest episode of the fake moon landing and our last episode with AI. And if you know what our next episode's gonna be, the super long one, let me know in the comments. And remember, when we get up to 500 subscribers, we're giving away a prize. Then 1,000. There's a couple different variations of thousands, up to 100,000 and to 1,000,000. So yeah, once we get there, we're gonna start giving away prizes and even special prizes after that. Like certain things I'm gonna give away, super old stuff. So we're gonna give this Undertaker doll from Playmates, sealed, still has tape on it, still on the top and bottom, never been opened. And yeah, so we're gonna give that away probably at a 1-year anniversary. That might be what we do. The ideal is to have a BMWO event on December 31st, 2026 at our 1-year anniversary. That's the goal here, ladies and gentlemen. So we'll see where we get with that. We could get to it easily if you invest. Here's a word from our sponsors.
Don't let a fender bender ruin your week. Dwayne's fixes it right. Dwayne Bardo has kept this shop running through road closures, bridge work, and everything Akron could throw at him. Collision repair, dents, body work, done right by a guy who actually cares about your car. Find Dwayne's Auto Body at 475 East North Street in Akron. Come in and see him.
I was a fan of WMMS long before I started drawing the buzzard. MMS was a part of my life then, and still is. We've come a long way together. When I draw the buzzard, I try to express in that character the feeling that WMMS has for Cleveland. It's a feeling that's in the music and in the people on the air. WMMS reflects the lifestyles of Cleveland and the North Coast, the rock and roll capital of the world. And the buzzard, he still says it all.
It's midnight. You're hungry. Bebe's on Triplet is still open. Akron's favorite drive-thru has been keeping the community fed for years. Snacks, drinks, beer, groceries, whatever you need, without ever leaving your car. They take cash, card, mobile pay, even EBT. Order on Seamless. Bebe's drive-thru. 1605 Triplet Boulevard. Open every day till 1 a.m.
So yeah, as long as you invest, we could get there. Independent wrestlers, make sure you get a BMWO shirt or hoodie. There's 3 different variations. And then send us the raw footage of you doing a promo or a match wearing our stuff and claiming the BMWO, no matter what promotion you work for. Just send us the video material without color commentary and let us use it. If that's okay with your promotion, we would like to partner with promotions to do this. It would be like a storyline, but to build my own federation where different wrestlers come from different territories into one spot to wrestle for the BMWO championship and eventually put on a weekly show. If we make enough money, I mean, we could, competition is the best thing wrestling needs right now. And BMWO is where it's at, baby. Get you a shirt. But that's it for this week. We went down AI being created or discovered. Let me know what you think. Like, comment, and subscribe. And this week we went to see if the moon landing is real or fake. I still gotta take off, so I'm gonna take off. And before I do that, I want to read a scripture from Billy Graham, Hope for Each Day. And then we're gonna take off here. So today's word of wisdom and faith and hope is God's perfect plan. Be transformed that you may prove what is that perfect will of God. Romans 12:2. The Bible reveals that God has a plan for every life, and that if we live in constant fellowship with Him, He will direct and lead us in the fulfillment of this plan. God does not reveal His plan through fortune tellers, astrologers, soothsayers, and workers of hocus pocus. His perfect will is reserved for those who have trusted Christ for salvation. He shares His secrets only with those who are redeemed and transformed, those who humbly seek His will for their lives. You cannot know the will of God for your life unless you first come to the cross and confess that you are a sinner and receive Christ as your Lord and Savior. Once you do come to Him, you begin a whole new life, a life lived not for yourself, but for Christ. From that moment on, God wants to show you His will. Whatever decisions you face today, commit them to God and ask Him to guide you, and He will. Amen. Hope for today. God created us with a purpose. It is His glory that we discover and live out that purpose. Do you want to know God's will for you? Come to Christ, and God will make known the mystery of His will. Ephesians 1:9. Amen. And that's what it all leads to. The wrestling, the podcast, the shirts. It all goes to the ministry, because that's what our hope for is, to open a ministry. Have guest ministers and people we align with come in and preach weekly and do wrestling shows, and have Christian artists, and because wrestlers and musicians share a lot of the same thing. And guys, it's fake. It's a work. Yeah, you gotta be in good shape, but the adrenaline gets you going. And I'm 40. I can't do it, but these young guys might be able to. Again, I just want to be the Vince McMahon and Dana White, because I want to also get another belt, and for the Basement Made Fight Club, BMFC. Once we get that, we'll start going that route too. We want to get guys interested in doing this. MMA and wrestling, masculinity. Andrew Tate, holler. Get him into it. He could be a guest commentator with me. But yeah, make sure you sign up. Get you a BMWO merchandise shirt from the basementmadeonlinestore.com and start getting paid for some material. We're during your promos and matches, man. We'll send you $50 per tape, no color commentary. Help us build a show, a brand, and somebody can become the BMWO champion, man. Let's get it. Let's start doing it. I'm Freddie Robbins. This is the Basement Made Podcast, and these are my algorithm reactions from the moon. And we're gonna take off just like they did in 1969. Peace.
Proceeded. 3, 2, 1. Ignition. Right away, Houston. Vector good. X-Thought. Pitch over. Roger, you have good thrust. Okay, 30 seconds. 308 your number. Okay, coming through 1,500 feet.
Down the rabbit hole we go, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole. Down the rabbit hole we go, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole. Down the rabbit hole we go, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit across the blue, painting lines in the sky. Weather modification, tornadoes, rain, snow and ice. Propaganda on the screens, twisting every word we hear. Controlling minds worldwide, force feeding the fear. Memories change overnight, Mandela effect at play. What we thought was real before now suddenly has changed. Flat earth debates, global believers, everybody's on edge. Question everything you know, where does the truth begin? Down the rabbit hole we go, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole. Down the rabbit hole we go, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole. Down the rabbit hole we go, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole. Down the rabbit hole we go, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole. Outer space looks like a movie, science fiction, big screen, the narrative full of holes. Nothing is all what it seems. Deep state, mind control, puppeteers pull the strings, keep the masses distracted with unattainable dreams. Hollow earth below our feet, secrets buried so deep. UFOs in the clouds, or is it Project Bluebeam? Pharmacy, a spell cast, keep you wrapped in chains. Thoughts creeping in silence, hijacking your brain. Down the rabbit hole we go, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole. Down the rabbit hole we go, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole. Down the rabbit hole we go, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole. Down the rabbit hole. 'Cause it's a very, very mad world. Enlarging your world, mad world.
Ha